First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Move Javante
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Heal gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, Faith Overseas.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What's good people out there in the world? We are back with a brand new episode. It's a new week. I got my guy with me. We're missing one, but we're gonna hit him with the pick and roll and the give and go. This is episode 180. It's your favorite pod. You got your guy, Official Buchanan, and who I got with me.
You already know what it is. You got your favorite guy. Well, I guess I'm not your favorite. The second 2.5 favorite guy, maybe something like that. But you already know what it is. You got your guy AJ. I ain't got no nicknames, but shout out to the mother-loving Bengals, baby. We moving on to the second round. But we're going to get to that. Make sure that you find us on all our platforms. Follow us on Instagram at 3manweave_. Follow us on Twitter at 3manweave_. And make sure you join the Facebook group. Search 3-Man Weave on Facebook. You'll find the 3-Man Weave group. It's tons of fun. It's tons of shit. YouTube they about to implement a new policy for people
in the first
who cussed in the 15 minutes. So this is new for me. Y'all know I'm trying my best right now. So we gonna make it through these intros without no curse words. So it's tons of trash talk in the group, but it's lots of good debates as well. It's fun as well. Make sure that you hit us up.
Information in there.
There's definitely good information in there. Breaking news, all of that. So make sure if you got any questions that you want us to answer, or if you have any topics that you want us to discuss on the podcast, hit us up in the email or the DMs at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com.
Yes, sir. So look, man, this is episode 180. I wanted to just say this. I love the number 180 because to me it represents the number of change. So many people think that when you want to change, you got to do a 360. But in reality, if you do a 360, you'll be right where you started at. So the perfect number of change is to do an about face from something. 180, go to complete opposite direction. So this is episode 180, and it's a new year too. It's 2023, so we trying to spark change, man. But I do got a question for you, AJ. And
what's up?
Into sports. So I'm listening to the intro, right? And Hill's doing his introduction, and he says the U. What the hell is that, yo?
Who, for Hill?
Yeah, for Hill. Like, what is that? Like, why is he saying the U?
Because he take it from the Monday Night Football intros where they do the University of Miami. But it's like, bro, you a USC fan. Why you taking the U?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So that's the first time I actually caught that. Like 4.5 years later. Go figure. But what's really good?
Hey, man. It's been great. You know, this weekend they had what they called Super Wildcard Weekend. I don't know what really made it so Super Wildcard Weekend besides the fact that they just added a 7th seed and only one team gets a bye. So there's that.
It's a lot of football. It's a lot of playoffs. That makes it super, I guess.
You know me.
Last year it really was Super Wildcard Weekend.
Last year was definitely. Yeah, but it was also, I believe that was the first year of the and you know, I was not a fan of it, and kind of why I wasn't a fan of it is kind of what you saw this year. where
Mhm.
it's like, you add that seventh team, but it's like, is that seventh team really even that good? You know what I mean? It's like,
What's unfortunate about that is it's supposed to give a team a chance. It this year just didn't give the right teams a chance because I felt like, for instance, and I hate to toot my own team's horn, but if the Commanders would have made it and had to play one of those teams, I feel like they would have done better. Um, I even feel like they would have done better than the Bucks. Man, I don't know what the Bucks did, but we let me not jump the gun, but sometimes it can pay off. Sometimes we can get just what we got yesterday. So I do like the 7th seed because I like bubble teams, man. So but unfortunately, this is what bubble teams is going to get us. Sometimes it's going to get us those teams that just show up and their bubble gets popped right away. So
but
it is what it is.
but here's another thing that I was kind of like the reason why I didn't like it, because when you didn't have the seventh seed, you had the 1 and the 2 seed getting a bye. So in wild card weekend, that bubble team, the 6 seed, is going against a 3 seed.
Yeah,
You get what I
facts.
mean? So
Yeah,
that get like, so the 2 seed and the 7th seed, that gap is a lot different.
that's a
And
lot.
of course, there's a thing called any given Sunday. But
Mhm.
also, the 2 versus the 7, usually it's a reason why you're the
Mhm.
2 seed, and it's a reason why you're the 7th seed. It's very rare that you have that. But, like I said last year, our guy Ross, he ain't in chat right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The Titans were a terrible
Yeah.
number 1 seed. So
Mhm.
seeing them lose wasn't, extremely shocking. And even then, they lost in the divisional round. When
Yeah.
you get to wild card weekend, having a 2 seed versus a 7 seed, it's just like, I mean,
Yeah.
do we really want that? And to me, when it comes to football, I kind of like, I like good football.
Yeah.
I like to
Fact.
see, you know what I mean? I like good football. And one of the things that really drives good football is good quarterback play.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you have the 7 seed, you're not really getting that much of, quarterback play. Just historically. So I get that. But I just it's cool. But to me, it's like I still miss having those 1 and 2 seeds getting that first
Yeah.
round
I
bye,
do. That
because
was more fair.
it meant a lot. You know what I mean?
You
It
know,
it it it,
but
it
it all
gave
comes
people a lot
down.
to shoot for.
It's
And
just
that's
it's
the
an
thing. Like,
expansion because prior to the seventh team being added from each conference, there was no Monday night.
and that's another
No
thing. I
Monday
don't
night
like
game
I don't
going.
I don't like the Monday night game,
I honestly don't like the Monday night
because
game.
now when you go back to the next week,
Yeah, you
one
sure
one
about that?
one one
Yeah,
one team is short a day. One
yeah,
team is short a day in preparation. So
yeah,
now the Cowboys not only are short a day, they have to travel cross
yeah,
country
right.
to San Francisco. When it's like San Francisco, they played what, on Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah,
They
I
played
think they play Saturday.
Yeah, so they played Saturday. So San
Yeah,
Francisco
that's
got
2
two
days.
extra
Yeah,
they got 2 extra days on the
yeah.
Cowboys. And nobody's gonna remember that. If anything, comes up and it's like, oh, Cowboys, they
They're
tricked it.
definitely not. They're definitely not
But
gonna remember that.
those travel days,
They add up,
and those extra, bro, you know how many extra, like, what an extra day of treatment can do?
bro. Or extra day of rest.
Exactly.
It's,
So
bro, if someone told you you had to perform at your best after traveling, it's the worst, bro. Having to go somewhere after being in the airport and doing all of that, it's the worst, man. So
another thing that another thing that a lot of people don't know about traveling is that dehydrates you. Like, one of the things that people fail to do after travel is rehydrate, because
yeah,
the change in the altitude levels and all of that, and people just generally forget to drink water when they're traveling.
yeah,
That's taxing on your body. And as Maurice said, man, it ain't no I think.
yeah. It
It's
is.
what
It is about the
it's
money.
what it's 100% about the money, because if they were adding a 7th seed because they was like, oh, let's give a 7th seed a chance to make the
Mhm.
playoffs, they wouldn't have. I mean, to make a Super Bowl, they wouldn't put the 7th seed against the 2 seed to go
It's
to
more.
start off.
It's another TV. It's another TV. It's more. It was more than one TV game.
Yeah, it's adding a game. It's the
Yeah.
same thing that I said about the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
People think that the 12-team playoff was about being fair. No, the 12-team
No.
playoff was never
It's
about being
always
fair.
about. It's always
It was
about dollars.
It was about getting more high stakes games on TV because that's what happens with the casual fans. People helicopter in for the high stakes games. So it's like, well, how can we get more people to be interested when it actually matters? Put 12 teams in the playoffs.
I definitely.
Because
I definitely be getting sauced up on plenty. Shout out to Mark, man.
100%. I'll be there. When I actually found out that you could take like the little nips through through security.
Yeah, because that's not
Boy,
liquid, bro. You can get
yeah,
little amounts of liquid too, man.
yeah, but it just never it never registered to me until I was dating a flight attendant and she was
All
like,
travel size stuff can go through, man.
yeah. So I was dating a flight attendant. She was like, yeah, you could definitely take those in, boy. I've had them joints in my carry-on. I'd be at the gate. Nice. I always stop at the little duty-free joint. Spend
Yeah.
$7 on a ginger ale. pour me a couple Jameson dips in that joint. I mean,
be
that
straight.
motherfucker ready.
All right, man. So what we got, man? Super Wildcard weekend. What we starting with?
You want to start at the epic collapse?
What's the epic collapse? The Jaguars game?
Yep, Jaguars and the Chargers.
Yeah, we can start with that.
So, when Doug Peterson got hired as a Jaguars head coach, one thing Hill said was, if Doug Peterson can't make Trevor Lawrence look like one of them ones,
He said that, yeah.
Trevor Lawrence ain't one of them ones.
Yeah.
And Doug Peterson came in, and guess what?
Trevor Lawrence is one of them ones.
Took them boys to the playoffs. And to me, I don't want to go to the whole ESPN question. Was it Jaguars good comeback or Chargers meltdown?
I hate that.
I
it
do.
Is what it is. It's a Jaguars comeback.
Because they came back. And
yeah. It's also a meltdown. It's two things. Right.
Yeah, because without a meltdown, it's not a comeback.
Exactly.
And Brandon Staley's on the hot seat. A lot of people.
He's off of it technically.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, do you think Brandon Staley should keep his job? We'll start there.
I do not. And I don't like the fact that their OC got fired. I hate that, man. I hate when the person in charge isn't held accountable. And I literally just got off the phone with one of my good friends. We were talking about something unrelated, but we were talking about contracts in there. And we're talking about contracts for regular common day citizens. Like, if you and I do a contract, whether it's for a car or whether it's for like a small business loan at the bank, right? We're expected to uphold everything that we agreed to. And as soon as we don't, there's a penalty. Swift, right? You could be 1 day late, you get a late fee. Assessed $35, whatever it is. They don't play around. But when the corporation makes a mistake, it's just expected to always be an apology, bro. And it's right. And I just don't get that. So it's like in the place of the Chargers, it's like, bro, how can you as a head coach let an offensive coordinator install a game plan, run a game plan, you approve it, and then it doesn't work, and then you say, he's the scapegoat, our offensive coordinator. One, I think it has to be the coach because you approved it, number one. Number two, I don't think it's the offensive coordinator in this instance because they put up points initially. It was a defensive reason that let the Jaguars back in the game. So it's like, and do I think it should have been the defensive coordinator? No, I still think it should have been Staley. Like, too many people are passing a buck in this time, but when it comes to the average citizen like you and I, there's never a buck pass. It was like we always have to pay up or be held accountable. But it's like the higher you go, the less you're held accountable. It's like make it make sense, man.
And kind of to what you said is the reason I think Staley should be held accountable because one, I didn't believe Staley should have gotten the job in the
I
first
didn't
place
believe it at all.
because, like we've always said, these organizations are willing to hire white coaches who haven't proven anything yet. They're willing to hire them too soon in order to not hire them, not take a chance, like not miss out on them and be too late. But when it comes to minority coaches, they have to really work their way up the ranks, prove themselves, and make their name known from position coach, coordinator to hot coordinating candidate. And you
Hell and
can't
back pretty much.
and you can't just be an average coordinator. You have to coordinate innovative top
Mhm.
5 level
Yeah.
level side of the ball. Like you
Yeah.
have to be in that phase of the game. Brandon Staley was not that. Brandon Staley, when he was with the Rams, like they had a good defense, but it was mainly because of the players and the situation that they had in place. Because remember that at one point they had Wade Phillips, and then Wade Phillips left, and then there were other and so he just kind of got into that situation with all those good players, and
Mhm.
immediately was like, okay, boom, let's hire him. And what we were always told was when you have one of those generational level quarterbacks, you want to get an offensive mind in to really partner with that quarterback. They deviated from that entire plan, went with Brandon Staley just because he had Sean McVay ties, even though
Yeah.
he was a defensive mind. He came in, and since he's gotten there, their defense has been the weak link. And it's
And
not like
that's my
they don't
point.
have they don't have talent,
So how can you get rid of the offensive coordinator?
because the thing with what they're saying is, he's getting rid of the offensive coordinators because, had they scored up another touchdown, then maybe. And
They scored a
the,
lot of points.
here's another thing. Staley's decision also hindered them because
Absolutely.
you no longer have Mike Williams,
Yeah.
who is, one of your
I'm
top
gonna
guys,
play him for no reason the prior
one of
week.
one of one of their go-to guys, who's often injured as well
Yeah.
anyway.
So that's
It's
a more reason to rest him if we already in the playoffs, bro.
and it's funny, to go on a tangent here. I've had many debates back when when T. Higgins was a rookie, and I said T. Higgins is better than Mike Williams, but I got a lot of pushback in the
Yeah.
group. But we'll get to
Wasn't
that
in college,
another
so I
day.
can see why people said that though. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
true now.
But what I was about to say was another person that's really skirting a lot of the criticism from his supporters is Justin Herbert, because bro, all you missed a wide open touchdown that would have sealed that game regardless of the comeback. And it's like it's not like there was
Herbert
just something
is who I thought he was, and
right.
I've always said he was, bro.
And what I said about what I saw about that game is, when a team is up big, it's usually a giant swing. So like a
Mhm.
team gets up big because they got a lot of turnovers, but then like stuff starts to just unravel, and then they start to give away the ball back to allow a team to get back in the game. But it was like
Mhm.
a lot of those points that the Chargers got were off of those short fields and turnovers and stuff. But when
Yeah,
the turnovers stopped, they didn't do anything. They
yeah,
didn't do
just bring
anything
him
with
out.
they
Mhm.
didn't do anything with the ball. And it's just like you had opportunities, but you didn't capitalize on it. And like Justin Herbert had the opportunity to slam the door shut, but he never did. And
Couldn't do it.
to
Mhm.
go off your point, like after their rookie seasons and at points in And in their second season, people were asking me, who would you rather have? Would you still rather have Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert? I never wavered once, because what I said was Joe Burrow is the perfect quarterback for my team because he's a vocal leader.
You never wavered, but you did like them give Justin Herbert more respect than he deserved at a point.
Because hold on, wait.
But
the reason why
acknowledge this point. I used to say they don't even belong in the same class, bro. And I was one of the few people in sports media to say that. And look at it. It's true.
Yeah, but here's the reason why I was saying that is because what Herbert was in college and actually what he did in the pros.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Like that's why I was like, I didn't expect him to actually be as talented as he was. He had talent,
and most of the time when you don't expect
being talent is different. And that was my thing. It was like Herbert surprised me. Joe Burrow didn't, but it was like everyone's vaulted Herbert into conversations. And what I always said is, how could you have Justin Herbert in a conversation with Mahomes and Allen and not have Joe Burrow there? Because they would always tell me Joe Burrow wasn't a top 5 quarterback yet, but people were telling me Matt Stafford was. And I was saying, are y'all watching the tape?
No.
Joe, I understand the stats and everything, and people fail to realize because he was injured, Joe Burrow was on pace for those same record-breaking stats as Justin Herbert was his rookie year, but then he got hurt. Before he got hurt, he's always been the most accurate quarterback since he came into the NFL.
But what blew me so much is that they just willing to, after 1 year, just throw someone into the upper echelon. Like, no, that you can't do that like that. But that's my final thoughts on that game is that
that's where Trevor Lawrence headed.
Yeah, but he's earning it though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he went through his adversity and still came out on top. But Eric, man, our resident Jaguar fan, bro, you are milking that. We don't. I mean, whatever happens. I'm not expecting to win, bro. It's gonna catch up with you, man. This week, tell us your honest thoughts, Eric, in the chat. We want to post, man. If you're picking the Jaguars to lose, we need an explanation why. Because what you ain't gonna do is keep reverse psychology in these wins, man. Even though I had the Jaguars pick because I knew they would win this game, but you're reversing psychology your way out of this, so you won't have to take the heat when y'all lose, man.
Yeah,
that's out there,
and it's okay. Like you got it's okay to ride for your team. It's okay to understand, hey, we overachieved, but this is a great season. This is not you got the Jaguars are in the divisional round of the playoffs. You know what I mean?
He was at the game after I feel like he told us, "No, we ain't gonna win." You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And so it's just it's okay, bro. It's okay. But yeah, that was actually a really good game once it started to even out, and about a halfway in the third quarter, I believe I texted y'all. I was like, "Hey, the Jags go win. The Jags go win this game."
Well, and I was like, no. I was still thinking no, but you predicted it, and it definitely happened. So
I hedge my bets on the Suns all the time. I don't know, man.
You do. According to Hill, you do. But yeah, who we had next?
Let's go to, I think it was the first game on Sunday, that 49ers and Seahawks game.
Was that Sunday or Saturday? I can't remember. But man, that game was shaping up to be a classic. It was tied at halftime, and then
foot on next season, man. Next season.
Brock Purdy. I don't know. I hate crowning people early. But Brock Purdy can play football, man. Like, ain't no, and I felt like I picked the Seahawks because of Brock Purdy. I was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, he ain't got no playoff experience. I can't roll with him. And even though Gino really ain't have none either. So, but I just feel like Gino's played, he's been in the league more. I felt like he would rise to the occasion. And he didn't really play all that bad. I just feel like, they definitely played a better team. And Brock Purdy definitely did his damn job. And then some. So like I feel like they got something to him. He has that it factor that you can't buy, and you can't coach. And it's not everything in a quarterback, but it's good when a quarterback does have that. So it's like, I think the 49ers got a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, and for me, the reason why I wasn't like surprised about what happened after halftime is because the 49ers have been so hot. And the Seahawks, what was going to be concerning for me, like what the reason why I picked the 49ers is what ended up being true is that Seattle Seahawks defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just don't have the guys to really, bro.
But I didn't think that Brock would be able to exploit them like that.
But here's the thing: it ain't even necessarily about Brock exploiting them. It's about them position players exploiting them, and then Brock just being able to get the ball to wide open dudes. It looked like Brock was in the Big 12. He's throwing the ball to wide open dudes.
Plays like outside the pocket, off schedule joints, bro. I was like, yo, that was an elite play by this dude, man.
But here's hold on, like here's another thing about those off schedule plays. When you go like with like broken plays, we all know you can only cover for 2-3 seconds.
Right.
So when you have that broken plays, and then you got to worry about Debo, then you got to worry about Kim, then you got to worry about Christian McCaffrey, then you got to worry about Brandon Ayuk. Like you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, at somebody like I said when I said let's draft Jamar versus draft Penny, my third guy is better than your third guy. They fourth guy is way better than your fourth guy because they fourth guy is Brandon Ayuk.
Coach know how to get them open too.
Exactly. And so not only are you just going out there and they Jimmy's is better than your Joe's, they got somebody who know the X's and O's over there too.
Right.
And that's how they can really run some of the most basic concepts
and beat you
because it's like it's almost like they can go out there with Herman Boone's playbook. They can go they can go out there with 6 plays, but you got to think about all of this shit and all of these moving pieces that makes it so difficult that when they get on the field, regardless of what you try and do, somebody is going to make you panic and you go miss an assignment.
But I want to just shout out Gino, man, because one, he did come to fight. I don't feel like he shot in the moment. Like I truly feel like the defense did let them down because Gino made some hell of a plays. Him and DK, bro, they made some plays that should not have been made.
That deep ball to DK might have been one of the prettiest throws of the postseason so far. Yeah, like that. It's
still early, but it might have been one of them.
He dropped that shit directly in the bucket. It was an amazing throw, and I really do think with the pieces that they have,
they got something to build on there.
They definitely have something to build on, and I think Gino should get a contract extension with them. I'm not saying he has to get one of those 5-year. But like if you give Gino like a bridge contract, like 3 years, something that's not going to really fuck up your cap, and you could mix and match with some of the upcoming contracts from these rookie players that you have coming up, and then it gives you time to be like, hey, if they wanted to and they wanted to take a chance on a quarterback this year, say Anthony Richardson, someone who you feel like you have to kind of groom a little bit. You can do it. It's the perfect situation because they can sit behind Gino, and from the looks of it, Gino has turned into the consummate pro.
Yeah,
and you have someone to learn behind, and you
Mhm.
also still are not changing your window of
Yeah,
like we can start to compete.
yeah,
And so I think they are in a great position. And boy, that draft, I mean that trade right now is looking to have worked out in their favor because they damn near hit on all of their picks this year.
yeah. They hitting, bro. Because who would have thought
It,
they would have hit like that on Kenneth Walker, bro?
Kenneth Walker, Charles Cross, Tariq Woolen, bro. Like you had the defensive, like a possible defensive rookie of the year, the possible offensive rookie of
Yeah,
the year,
yeah,
and you got other pieces scattered throughout. So
yeah,
that's just, and then you still got more picks coming.
yeah, yeah,
Like who,
yeah,
like they could possibly go and say, hey, let's get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, a defensive monster to put on
yeah,
that defense, which they need, especially in that division, and
yeah.
then still get, Anthony Richardson or somebody later down in the draft
It's still can
and
because he
say what you
definitely
want.
a top guy. So
Yeah, and so and he's a quarterback that if he can, put it together as far as passing
yeah,
athletically, oh, he's a dog.
yeah.
So, man,
They
Seahawks, they
got
might be
they
a
in a good
yeah,
spot.
they got some pieces to look out for. So,
Yeah.
where we going next? Who was after that?
Um,
That
Giants,
was Giants in
Vikings.
Minnesota. Man,
Yeah, man.
hey,
I predicted
um,
this too, man.
uh, is anybody ever going to start treating Daniel Jones like a mobile quarterback? They didn't.
They better. And I literally said that at my home. I said, bro, if you look at all year, he gives you pretty much 70 yards on the ground. But it's like no one schemes for it. They just like allow that, bro. He had more carries than Saquon, which I wouldn't do. Like at one point, it looked like it was about to get him hurt. But he was gassed, bro. And they still calling his
Yeah,
number.
he ran one play. I think he ended up running like I think for like 20 yards or something like that. And
Call
then
his
they
number
ran
right
a
again.
and they ran a design run to the
I
left.
said, bro,
He
hey, yo,
ran right
yeah,
into
he
his
got
left
blocked.
tackle and just fell. He was just like I felt like he almost looked to the sideline like a receiver,
Yeah,
like, hold on, get
facts,
me up
bro.
out of here.
But
But
what I did was respect that he stayed in there after that, and they still continued to move on that drive, which showed me something about Daniel Jones that's like, all right, like one, when I look at Daniel Jones, he doesn't even have what resembles a receiving core. Let's just be real.
and
Darius
yeah,
Slayton is one of his best guys, and you saw what that can get you. You miss a wide open hit in the hands when the game is on the line. You see what I'm saying? When they could have just Kirk could have never got the ball back if Slayton would have caught that dig route that he was wide open on. So it's like that's what he's worked with all year, which has led him to the fact that he has to be a runner. But to be able to do what he did in the playoffs, I think people gotta at least put some respect on Daniel Jones's name. Now I ain't saying he's a great quarterback or none of that, but what I am saying is he's a guy that's willing to do whatever the team has asked him to do, including run the ball, like you said. And Vikings, man. Like, I don't understand how you let them which is they actually took my advice. They came out in zone initially and Kirk cooked them up, drove down, score. And I was like, listen, you cannot play zone against Kirk and Justin Jefferson because one thing Kirk can do is work the pocket.
he'll
And
find a soft spot.
And he will find it, bro. And then when you have someone like Justin Jefferson, where I could just throw it up and he has a catch radius of God knows what. So it's like I just have to wait till he passes a soft spot and then put it out there. So it's like I said, I'm literally watching the game. Said I'm saying to one of my Giant friends, I'm like, look, y'all are gonna have to blitz and go man to man. And he looks at me and say, man to man against Jefferson. He said, we can't cover him. I said, you can't cover him for a long amount of time. I said, but you're not covering him at all in the zone. He's eating it up. I said, but you can
Exactly.
cover him for 2 to maybe 3 seconds. I said, you put the pressure on Kirk. I said, I know what Kirk does in pressure, does not deal with it well. He rushes his throw. He'll throw it out of bounds. He'll get out the pocket, which is not his forte. So I said, just put the pressure on him. And then it's like they heard me, bro. They started running that, and it's like he couldn't find Justin Jefferson, bro. He had to go back to what he did in Washington when people used to put pressure on him, rely on that tight end, bro. And he went to Hawkinson one too many times, bro. It's like he couldn't even on that last play. I feel like that was to Hawkinson, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
And there's no way if the game is on the line, I'm not going to the best receiver in the game. Are you shitting me?
Bro, I'm telling you,
you went to him in the second half.
It's the Andy Dalton special, bro. He tricked it. He panicked in the big moment because that's who he is. And the thing about Kirk, or Kurt, whatever you want to call him, he's always going to be just good enough where you can't move on from him, because it's just like, how can we're too good? We're too good to get someone good enough to be better.
Yeah,
your best chance is going to be just like finish out this contract, and you're gonna have to hope that you can keep Justin Jefferson, in under wraps until you can get somebody new. But you always gonna be just good enough to not get someone young enough and talented enough to take you to the next level. Yeah, I think with the Giants, man, I think Daboll got to get tons of credit.
Tons.
Because just like with Josh, remember when Josh Allen, we gave a lot of credit to Stephon Diggs and said that is the line of demarcation. When they got Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen elevated himself and people started calling him an MVP candidate. But let's not forget, he had goddamn, he had Josh Allen looking pretty damn good too. And so I love this hire. Remember, when we did our preseason picks, I said, watch out for the Giants. This could be a sneaky player. This could be a sneaky playoff team. Because I think
we laughed at you.
Yeah, you definitely laughed at me. And Hill was like, "What makes you think that the Giants could be a playoff team?" What? But it's Daboll, because if you had like I said, I like the defense. And it wasn't me saying I like the defense.
No, the defense is you're right about that. You're right about
the reason why I like the defense is the personnel fit the coordinator.
Yeah.
Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
The back end, they didn't have the best back end coverage, but you know what Wink Martindale gonna do? Blitz the hell out of you.
Yeah.
You know what you don't have to do long when somebody you don't have to cover. You don't have to cover long.
Thibodeau,
they gonna get home,
man.
Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, all of them boys, and that's what caused that panic throw from Kirk Cousins. Pressure. Yep. And it's all that. I don't care how good you are. There's only like 2 to 3 quarterbacks in the league that if you blitz them, they go kill you every time. It's very few quarterbacks. So 9 times out of 10, if you send in a blitz,
he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it last night. So it's really not as many as you.
I'm about to say. So
we'll get to that.
I'm about to say it's only 2. It might be more, but yeah. So it's just like, for me, this is going to be a scary team if Daniel Jones continues to play like that. Next round,
I don't think he can, because he doesn't have anybody to throw it to. He made all the right decisions, but like you see, one of his incomplete passes, he didn't have a lot of incompletes, but one of them is a drop. So it's like,
but here's my thing though, the running,
they doing
the running ability helps those, because once again,
but you play the Eagles next week, who also have a mobile quarterback.
I know the Eagles have a mobile quarterback, but that Daniel Jones can play that equalizer too, because just as Jalen Hurts is going to be able to get out there and run and put stress on the defense, and he has all the weapons, of course. But Daniel Jones can do that too, and like we just said, it's hard to cover for more than 2 to 3 seconds. So if Daniel Jones is able to get outside the pocket, make moves, or get some of these design runs, now those they may have to kind of go into zone, and they
what's his name? Hodgson?
Isaiah Hodges.
Number 18. Well, he had him looking good, bro. He had him looking like an NFL player.
Yeah. So that was exactly. So,
right.
So like I said, I think this divisional round in the NFC, It's going to be very, very fun.
No, next week NFC games I'm excited for. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see, what, those NFC games are going to look like. But want to move on to the
Yeah.
Sunday night game?
Yeah, let's do it, man. It's your boys, man. The Bengals
And the
against your
Ravens.
rival, man. The Lamar Jackson-less Ravens. But you know what? Lamar Huntley had them in that game, man. And your defense bailed y'all out, man. My question to you is, what the hell happened to the offense, AJ? And
So
are you confident going into next week with the
here's my
offensive?
here's my thing. I don't believe anything happened to the offense.
They
Bro,
just
look at what the Ravens have been doing since they got
oh, they
Roquan
just
Smith.
yeah.
They,
They
they've
just
they've been doing that to everybody. They just ain't been doing that to us. So it's like, and they're a really, really tough defense. And they're an AFC North divisional opponent. They've beat us once this year. So it's like, it's not surprising to me that this game was ugly, because that's how a lot of these games will end up being. They will be ugly.
But the
And
second half, neither team put up offensive points.
but that's kind of how it goes. Like,
Yeah.
it's the
I think
AFC
it's
North.
great.
Like,
I enjoyed it.
AFC North is going, like, it's one of those things. And what people don't realize is the Baltimore Ravens, like, they're a run first team.
Yeah.
So it's not
They was
necessarily,
running that thing, boy.
but that's my point.
They was
So
running that thing.
it's not like, oh, I was never expecting for us to go out there and put up 30 points, because they're going to run, especially with Tyler Huntley, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball effectively. And because they run the ball effectively, what people don't realize, through the first 3 quarters, Bengals only have 5 possessions. We only had the ball 5 times.
Yeah. No, that game was moving quick too.
Exactly. So the game was moving quick, and then once the Bengals, started to settle down, things started working, and the stuff started getting put in place. And when you say the defense bailed us out, that our defense consistently does that. Our defense makes that. We have playmakers on that defense. A lot of people don't give our defense credit because they're not like the
playmakers.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we don't have a lot of the names that people look for, and we don't even get a lot of turnovers. But guess what? We get turnovers when it count. Look at I can go back to
Sam got some wheels, boy.
Big boy was moving.
Because Mark Andrews tried he gave everything he had, bro.
Boy, I thought Mark Andrews was about to go full DK. Can I give you a crazy stat about that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So at the combine, remember, Mark Andrews been in the league for almost a decade. But at the combine, Mark Andrews thought he was gonna fall in the draft because he ran a 4.95 40.
Ain't no way that boy ran a 4.95 40, man.
Bro clocked 20 miles per hour.
He clocked 20.
He clocked 20 on next gen. So he was moving.
Well, I said in real time, bro. There was 3 blockers with Sam, bro, and he was able to outmaneuver all of them, and he made a legitimate dive. Like he didn't get it, but
he made contact with Sam, but
he made contact. And if I'm the coach, I'm saying, bro, that's the true definition of never give up. Like I wasn't even mad at that. Like, bro, damn, bro, that's unfortunate, but goddamn, if Mark Andrews didn't lay it all on the line, bro.
And what I do want to say is, if you look at that play, also look at Gus Edwards. He jogging. Yeah. He just gave up on the play.
He gave up right away, man.
But
some of the people didn't even try. Nobody on the team tried except for Mark Andrews.
But honestly, nobody else on the team had an opportunity besides Mark Andrews and Gus, because everybody else under the pile.
But Gus, he didn't have a shot, bro. But Mark, I feel like Mark knew that was the game right there. That's why he tried so hard.
Yeah, like you going home. Like Sam scores that, y'all going home. If he don't score that,
maybe
it's still a game.
I feel like y'all would have scored again if they scored because I feel like Burrow can rise to the occasion. But I knew that if they don't score here, that Huntley not getting them back. He not getting them back, bro.
All right. So another thing happened in the game, and I gotta shoot my man some bail because I seen him getting killed in the chat. But somebody said, "Why is Eli Apple not bagging somebody's groceries?" And that's just terrible, man. Like Eli Apple has been balling this year, and
I said that too, man. It just got cooked one play, man.
No, and not even that, bro. He didn't even get cooked. What happened was, bro, they ran it's a perfectly timed double move. They haven't thrown the ball
and he got
downfield.
Got pumped at this perfect time.
They haven't thrown the ball downfield all game. So you're sitting on all of these routes because you know he's been getting the ball out quick. So you do that. You trying to make a play. And it's just like, oh, bet. Then you just got to chalk it up. He tried to get him. He tried to make up the ground. He just didn't get him. That's it.
Like, but he's actually had a really good solid year. I'm not one of those Eli Apple haters. And we had a conversation about him during the game at my crib. He really only has he's the reason that he has all those haters, though.
Oh, of course. It's
like if he just be quiet and just play ball, people would consider him a good, decent corner. But because he talked so much shit early on, that people just hate. Like anytime that anything happens to him, it's magnetized because people are waiting. Like even the receivers are waiting to say like, you got. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like,
but here's my thing. The corner position and the wide receiver, the wide receiver position, you kind of gotta have that mentality because it's always like it's
gotta have it, but you don't gotta say it,
right? But sometimes some people need to say it to kind of just like
some people do, and that is a part of their self-confidence. So I agree there. I agree. Yeah. Whatever makes it work for you, you got to do it.
And so to me, I just think that Eli Apple, he has been extremely solid. I've liked what I've seen from him. And our guy Mark, he said Mike Hilton changed the game when he was in too. Mike Hilton is a game changer for us, but because the Ravens run such a heavy heavy personnel, they kind of take him off the field because usually we like to run a nickel. But when Mike Hilton is in the game and we get to play in our basically, which is base nickel for us, against most teams, we're able to stop the run because now we get to have Mike Hilton in and he gets to guard your slot, but he also is going to be a dog off the edge when it comes to, run stopping. And that's what makes it such a big matchup problem for teams like the Chiefs, like the Bills, like the Titans and stuff like that, because they'll put 3 wide receivers on the field, stuff like that, which allows us to do so. The Ravens, tight ends and shit, maybe 2 tight ends, do Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, and Demarcus Robinson, maybe Sammy Watkins, and 1 running back, and then we just gonna run the ball. But then we could split those big guys out, and then do our passing game with that. And so that's why it's a little bit different for us. And no, Mark, y'all cannot get him back. He with the winning team now, baby. He was some winners.
Well, I didn't see Sammy Watkins until he took his helmet off on the last play, bro.
Which leads me to another thing. Can we stop that rhetoric? If they had Lamar Jackson, they would have beat us. If they had a 100% healthy Lamar Jackson, hell yeah, they might have beat us. But if Lamar Jackson is not healthy, I can't say that he would have beat us because he can't do the Lamar Jackson things that he's doing if he's not 100% healthy. That run that Tyler Huntley had, if Lamar Jackson ain't healthy, he's not doing that. You get what I'm saying? The things that really makes Lamar Jackson dangerous, he might not be able to do. And some of the hits that Huntley took might make things worse for Lamar Jackson.
When they make that statement that if they had a healthy Lamar Jackson. You feel what I'm saying?
Right, but but then I can say, if we had a healthy O-line and a healthy Cheeto, then we would have won. It's a part of the game. Injuries happen.
It goes on and on.
Exactly. So it's just like I'm not here. I'm not here to denigrate somebody because they didn't have somebody. Like they played a hard fought game, and I knew this game was going to be tough. And
Yeah.
and here's if Huntley didn't do a Superman from the 5-yard line, they would have went up. But I can't say that they would have beat us because we've come
He
back
saw
before.
Trevor Lawrence do it.
Right. So
he saw Trevor Lawrence do it.
so that's my whole thing. So yeah, like, and if they have Lamar, we might play a whole different game because we might understand that we have to take more chances. We might understand that we have to go for it a little bit more because we know that they can score quick. So, it is what it is. And a lot of this is the Ravens' fault because they literally have that team set up where it's just like, we're going to play defense and rely on Lamar on offense to make magic.
They're too Lamar dependent.
They do not give him any options. And I understand that y'all get like that they gave him Rashad Bateman, but it never should have stopped at Rashad Bateman. Like when they drafted Rashad Bateman, that's a draft that, hey, we need to get a couple people in here. I like the Isaiah Likely pick, but stop. Like, there's a difference between 100 yards from a tight end and 100 yards from a receiver.
Bro, they need a whole four.
Because tight ends can eat you up over the middle. They're reliable and stuff like that. But a wide receiver that's a game breaker, you still got to worry about them going over top in that big play in a drive where they score in one play instead of scoring in 17 plays. I think they had a 17 play drive on us. I think it was before halftime or something like that. That was a 17 play drive. It's just like, that shit is ridiculous. Yeah,
I ain't say it was smart, Eric. I just said he saw Trevor do it, man. He got geeked and thought that, hey, that must be the way to go. Teams are not ready for that. He found out that there's a difference between 5'10" and 6'6", like you're saying. So that's dumb on his part.
And once again, I understand that, but you also got to give credit to people making plays. Because once he got to the line of scrimmage, Jermaine Pratt literally held him straight up, and like he didn't progress any further. And Logan Wilson went for the ball. So it's just like, yeah, I understand that. But if you don't have people who, like the players who are willing to make plays, he's gonna get over that and make it.
Stretch that ball out unless you know you're crossing the plane. Because it's just easy. Once you do like that, it could easily be swatted out of your hand. That's
Bill Belichick could cut you for reaching the ball out.
Cut you, bro.
Bill Belichick literally
make it if you're gonna reach it out.
Bill Belichick literally has a rule that says do not stretch the ball over the goal line, because I think it was that game at Pittsburgh or something like that, and he was just like, no, never stretch the ball over the line because like only bad things can happen. Literally, just give yourself an opportunity to make it to the next play, and that's what it was. And so, that's what happened. And I think next week is going to look completely different because, like I said, the Ravens have an amazing defense, and they've been doing that to teams all year. The Bills, they have a pretty good point differential and, as far as a scoring defense, but they can be scored on. And so without Von Miller, I think it helps us a little bit more. And I think the playmakers that we have, we can exploit that a little bit more. The Bills, they can be run on. And so that also helps us out if we can establish our run game. And I think their linebackers aren't as good as the Ravens. So those plays over the middle can be had. So, Hayden Hurst, Tyler Boyd, they can do those things to get those eyes on the safety and to possibly give us some big plays. So I actually think this is going to be a different game. And I feel good about this matchup. And, I'm excited. I wish we would have been able to see that Monday Night Football game matchup. But, we were unable to see that. And I got a bone to pick with the NFL too, man. So did you know that the NFL is already allowing the Chiefs and the Bills to start selling their allotment of tickets for the AFC Championship game? But if you go on the Bengals website, you can't purchase AFC Championship games. Like if the Bengals were to make it.
Hey, It is what it is, man.
Don't that seem a little weird that you allowing people to start
Nah, they just
buying?
going. They going with what they think is guaranteed, man. The tickets got to get out there. Got to start moving them, man. But
But
look,
what's
we're gonna do the last matchup, Monday night matchup, and then we're gonna get into our predictions for next week. It ain't really much to talk about last night except to congratulate Dallas on a game well played, well coached, and I truly felt like we might have witnessed the end of an era. Like at this point, I don't even want to hear people talking about Brady going to another team. Like people, they're talking about like he might make a return to the Patriots. That would be dumb. Any other team that you go to, it's a waste of time. Even if I have a young QB who don't know anything, I might as well invest into him. Like, I just don't think that Brady has what it takes to get it done anymore. Like, and he's going to be 46 next year. And the reasoning is he's still cerebral. He still has that. But it's just like, it's football at the end of the day. And sometimes Brady's going to have to be physical. Like, when Michael Parsons and them was able to get in on the inside last night, Brian Leftwich had to say, Brady, I gotta move you off the spot, man. I gotta get you out the pocket. And boy, when he had to get out of that pocket, it was terrible. Like, it was so bad that he still didn't buy time by rolling out. Like, they just still were there, and all it did was just make it more difficult for Brady. So it's like, bro, gotta hang it up.
And with Brady going to another team, it's kind of similar to what happened when he went to Tampa Bay. He's got to be the missing piece.
Yeah,
he can't. He's got to go. He's got to go to a ready-made team, because if he does not go to a ready-made team, it's going to look just like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to look ugly. It's like Brady's not about to elevate nobody's team. He's not about to hide the deficiencies of your offensive line. He's not about to hide the deficiencies of your receiving core, and he damn sure not about to hide the deficiencies and mask the deficiencies of your defense. So people talking about he need to go to the Raiders, hell no. Stinky. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he
they got a good quarterback, and it didn't work this year. So it's like, clearly they're not a quarterback away.
They're not. And people say that, the Jets are a quarterback away. I don't want to. I want a young quarterback that I can build with, or I'm going to if I'm going to extend, if I'm going to try and expedite my window, I'm not doing it with Brady. If I'm going to try and get a quarterback where I'm going to expedite my window, I'm going to try and get a disgruntled Lamar Jackson. I'd even try and get, if I can't get Lamar Jackson, I would try and go get Derek Carr at least, and still try and do that, because at least then if I can go get Derek Carr, I know Derek Carr can make the plays necessary, and it'll be the best defense he's ever played with.
At this point, bro, you can go and get Taylor Heineke, bro. Brady's gonna be another year older, like in 6 more months. 6 more months for a 45-year-old is not 6 months for a 25-year-old. I'm sorry, no matter how you slice it. So it's like 6 more months for Brady is, bro. I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm a Brady fan. So for me to see what he looked like in doing those bootlegs, I said, my God, that's it, bro. That is it. The jig is up.
Yeah, it's over.
And bro, you are on drugs, Mark.
I'm about to say, is the only team that's a QB away is Washington. I like what Washington did this year.
We were QB away from making the playoffs. But if you're talking about
QB away means contending
a championship.
Yeah, QB away is a contending team. Yeah. And to me, the closest thing to that is the Jets, maybe. Like, that team looks ridiculously stacked.
It is, but I don't even know if it's like, it would have to be like a Drew Brees in his prime to me. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it just can't be. I don't think that Derek Carr can go there and get them there neither. You see what I'm saying?
But to me, and that's another thing when
he'll
people
be good there. I don't think
that's another thing when people say a QB away to me is people always just think you could just throw an average QB in there. No,
Yeah.
a QB away still means you have to be an elite level QB because elite level QBs are going to have to still do stuff when it comes to crunch time, because we've seen, regardless how good your offense is, there are going to be able to be some defenses that are going to be able to, choke your scheme. And you need a QB who's just going to be like, we need a play, I'm going to make that play. And so when you say a QB away, you just can't put someone in there just like aging Russell Wilson went to a Denver Broncos team who was a QB away. He was not it. And we've been trying to tell y'all, Russell ain't the same Russell y'all think he is.
Clearly ain't.
And then he's not. So they said the Colts. I kind of I felt that they would win the division. I knew they weren't a QB away from contending, but I was like, damn, they might be better than Carson Wentz.
I would have said San Fran before any of these other teams, but I feel like they might have their QB.
But that's why I never said San Francisco, because they are in the attempts to find out if they have a QB of the future.
I also, going back to Mark's point where he feel like Washington, I feel like Washington has their QB too. I said when we drafted Sam Howell that I truly think that this guy has a legitimate shot at being a QB of the future here. So it's like, if I never understood why teams draft people and then don't roll a dice on them. I'm so happy that we're actually going to roll the dice on him. And then let me just say this, because Hill will be upset if we covered his game and we didn't say, like,
I know I was going to get that.
Had a lot of people talking trash about him prior to the game. A lot of question marks.
Shady McCoy, did he say anything? Did he say anything yet?
Showed up. He answered those questions. So it is what it is. He had Dan Orlovsky had Dak as number 12 or 13 QBs in
the playoffs, not even in the league, just in the playoffs.
An insult, because I at least think he's between 8 and 10. And I do ding him some for some of his play this year. But I do understand that he had a thumb injury mid-year that he actually bounced back from. So I can respect the quarterback playing through that and still got his team almost won a division still. So it's like, dang, you act like we lose one game. People act like it's the end of an era. So it's like, I just had to do that for Hill, make sure his guy gets back.
And I want to also shout out, man, Dan Quinn was in his bag yesterday.
Yeah.
Like he was doing everything, that you would expect from Dan Quinn with Michael Parsons, that chess piece that he has, moving them around, allowing them to cause hell all over the field, and
they got Michael Parsons,
and line up and be like, okay, where is 11? And he's able to cause hell. And I think
instantly in the backfield when the ball snap.
Yeah, and if they're able to play like that next week, they're able to make a game. And real quick, our guy Rowe, he says, he's talking about his team that they were a quarterback away, and he's talking about last year they would have beat us in the playoffs. But what Rowe just fails to realize is we're the kryptonite to the Titans, bro. We literally ruined the Titans this year.
Oh man.
Yeah. Hey Ken, let me ask you a question. How many games you think the Titans won after they played the Bengals this year?
None.
And missed the damn playoffs. We broke them. Got them firing people, asking if Mike Vrabel gotta be fired. And guess who they play again next year? The Bengals.
You already know, man.
And guess what? How they talk about Patrick Mahomes ain't never beat the Bengals. Guess who ain't never beat Joe Burrow? The Titans. Even back in Joe Burrow rookie year, when we was 3 packs of ass, they still didn't beat us.
But Joe Burrow still was cooking, man.
Oh, he was cold. He was cold as hell, and he was cooking against them. Still, he had one of the greatest throws I've ever seen to Tyler Boyd. Like one of the greatest anticipations. Tyler Boyd was getting held, pulled this way. Joe Burrow threw it to his off shoulder. As soon as he broke off, it was right there. Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
Prediction times.
Prediction time, man. We coming up on the divisional round, man. And I'm gonna start right where we stopped off. We stopped with the Cowboys. And we got a real good 49er team and a good Cowboy team meeting each other. They both had convincing wins. This is actually, believe it or not, a lot of our fours may not know this, but this is actually a rivalry game, man. In the 90s,
Yeah,
the
this is one of
49ers
those
and
games.
Cowboys actually used to meet a lot in the playoffs. So they used to play multiple times per year. And a lot of the times that they met, it was actually for the NFC championship. Those Ken Norton teams, Steve
Mm-hmm.
Young team,
The monkey
the
off the back.
team, Morton Hanks, all of them, like those teams. And so I'm excited, to see one of my childhood rivalries lived out. My prediction for this game is I'm going 49ers, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going 49ers strictly because, man, the Dallas Cowboys are Washington Commander rival, man. It's like I can't sit up here and just root for y'all publicly. So it is what it is, man. But I do think that both teams, I think it's a very even matchup. I think both teams have what it takes to pull it out. So I'm just expecting a good game. It really don't matter to me who wins, but I'm rolling with the 49ers.
Man, Eric, you'd be surprised. A lot of these motherfuckers, they talk sports, but they don't know all the history. So you'd be
Yeah.
surprised.
Just because you know don't know who they used to play.
Yeah, but this actually, after seeing that Seahawks game, this actually is a tough pick for me because seeing what DK was able to do,
Mm-hmm.
that secondary can be had.
Absolutely.
That secondary can be had. If the defense comes out and plays the way that they played this week against the 49ers, the Cowboys definitely have a chance to win this game. But I just think that right now the 49ers are just clicking on all cylinders,
Mm-hmm.
and their playmaking ability is going to really give the Cowboys a lot of fits. And I've said it over and over. I don't know a wide receiver who breaks as many tackles as Deebo Samuel. And so it's just like he stresses me out watching him play because I'm like, hit him, tackle
Yeah.
him. You know what I mean? So I think this is
Total
going. I think,
facts, man.
yeah, I think this is going to be a tough game. I'm going to go with the 49ers on this one, but if, like Eric said, if they can if Micah
That
Parsons,
might be true right there, Eric.
yeah,
That's the truest thing Eric ever said, man.
if they could force Brock Purdy into making some turnovers and basically making him look like a rookie or making him look like Jimmy G, which like I said, if he can
Make
give
him
you
look like
one,
Brock Purdy. Who really
yeah.
is Brock Purdy? Do we really know yet?
Brock Purdy. If you've watched Brock Purdy at Iowa State,
He was cooking
no,
at Iowa.
he'll give you a chance. He'll throw you the ball. So
Yeah.
if they
and like I said, he got that it factor. I'll take that over nothing. You feel what I'm saying? There's
over
Kirk
Cousins throwing 4 for 3.
Because if Kirk Cousins just had that with his actual talent that he has as a quarterback, he might be a top guy, bro. Sometimes that's what you're just missing is the guts to do it. That Brett Favre made a living off guts.
Yeah.
And I know you don't really like Favre like that, but you can't admit that he didn't have success.
I can respect him.
Mostly off guts, because we know that accuracy wasn't his forte. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get the ball to my playmaker.
Yeah.
And so I definitely, and like you said, that's why actually Kirk was having such a good season early on because
he was doing that.
Because what he was doing was relying on Justin Jefferson. Look at that Bills game. Had he did what he did to Justin Jefferson, then who knows, he might make a play. Just throw it up. Let Justin Jefferson go out and go be better than the corner. I don't care if he's double covered. Let him go be better than both of them. But you got to give him a chance. You know what I mean? So I do think, I'm not seeing this as a blowout game or anything like that. And with this, since it was a blowout. My bad. Oh damn.
Go ahead.
So our guy Mo said still trying to figure out if the Cowboys defense was great or Tampa Bay offense was bad. Still haven't figured it out yet. It was both. Two things can be true. Two things can be true. That we've seen it all season. That Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is bad, but the pressure that they put on that Tampa Bay offense made them, force them into some bad decisions as well. And when I told this to Hill before the game, if y'all can get pressure up the middle, y'all gonna force Brady into making mistakes. Guess what happened? They got pressure up the middle. Brady threw an interception in the red zone, something that he don't never do. So if Dan Quinn can do what he did, and this is time to empty out the toolbox. You don't hold nothing back. Any tricks that you got, any blitz packages that you got, it's the playoffs. It's time to put them on film now. So let's go. Put pressure on him. Make this rookie make mistakes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Where we going next? You want to go to the Jaguars Chiefs?
Yeah, Jaguars Chiefs, man. And unfortunately, Eric, I've this one hurts my heart because I've been more of a Jaguar supporter this year than
Eric.
Than our resident Jaguar fan. But I feel like this is where my support has to stop of the Jaguars. And not because the Jaguars are our best team. I really hats off to what Doug has been able to do there. Hats off to what Trevor Lawrence has been able to do. Zay Jones, man. Hats off to the way the defense have played this year as a unit. But I just truly think that Pat Mahomes and his offense, McKinnon, he's on some next level thing right now. So, and of course, Kelsey. I just feel like they're going to be too much. Now, that doesn't mean that the Jaguars don't have a chance. So I don't want people to say that Ken didn't even give them a chance. I'm just picking the Chiefs. So it's like, so far, I'm going with the 49ers and the Chiefs.
I actually think that this is going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. So if you're a betting person, bet the over. Because I believe Doug Peterson is really good at exploiting a team's weakness. And he knows that, that Chiefs defense can be had. If they can keep Chris Jones at bay and allow Trevor Lawrence to kind of, make some plays, I think they can definitely put up points. And I see them actually putting up, at minimum 30 in this game. And I think and I think the sneaky thing that's going to open up a lot for the Jaguars this game, Trevor Lawrence using his legs. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get out the pocket, put pressure on that defense, and allow some guys to start running free. So I'm actually picking the Chiefs, but I think it's going the line is at 8.5. I think it's going to.
I thought you were about to say I'm actually picking the Jags, but that's cool.
Yeah, no. So I'm picking the Chiefs, but the line, I think it's going to be closer than that 8.5 mark.
All right. Then who else we got?
We got Giants Eagles.
Oh man, a true rivalry game, an NFC East divisional round playoff game. I truly think this is a good matchup. But I just think that this true because Giants got a decent defense. Philly got a decent defense. But they both have QBs that are making good decisions right now. But I just think it comes down to Jalen Hurts has more tools in his tool bag, and I think that the Eagles do it. AJ picked the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl from the beginning of the year. I basically was gonna pick them, but didn't because my fiance is an Eagle fan out of spite. So, but I truly feel like that they're gonna beat the Giants this weekend. But I think that it's going to be a great game because of the rivalry game. I'm expecting it to come down to the last 2 minutes. But I think Jalen Hurts will be able to get it done, or the Eagles defense will be able to do whatever they need to do in the last 2 minutes to get the game.
And just like we saw in the wild card round, those divisional games, they don't be blowouts. This is going to be tough. And, games like this, you always say it comes down to the quarterback. I think it does come down to the quarterback, but what actually is going to separate it is the weapons, like you said, the weapons on the outside.
Yeah.
AJ Brown and Devontae
He's
Smith.
a problem, bro. That's different.
And like you
Different,
can't like they can't do that. The only way that's gonna happen is if they catch the Eagles sleep, or if Jalen Hurts is actually not 100% and he comes out rusty.
That too.
So that's a sneaky thing that a lot of people aren't really bringing up. Jalen Hurts hasn't played a lot of football in this last month.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility that they could come out and start slow. And if they start slow as that number 1 seed, that pressure, you start to get the balloon knot start to tighten up a little bit, and you start making some mistakes. So the Giants definitely have a chance. Rolex says he sees 35-17. I don't see that. To me, I'm thinking this is going to be one of those 28. Damn, you good. I was about to say 28-24.
Oh, don't touch the floor, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think it's going to be one of those 28-24 games. The Giants might have it, trying to go in and, score because, with that last possession or something like that. But I think it's going to be one of those close games, and it's going to be tight all the way through. Final game of the weekend. Well, it's not the final game, but the last one we're going to get to, Bengals-Bills.
Yeah, Bengals-Bills, man. So I'm gonna go first, man. I really like the Bills. Offensively, I like Stephon Diggs. Of course, I like Josh Allen, but I like their intermediate passing game too, and what they've been able to do. I also like their run game is pretty decent. And I know that they're the favorite, but. And I hate to say this because you're a Bengals fan, but I truly feel like that playing against that Ravens D and y'all being able to win still with the offense not putting up points in the second half, to me, that shows grit. And I think that's what it's going to take to win this game is grit. The more grittier team is going to win. And I just feel like at this point, I kind of want to see the Bengals get back because we never see people who lose the Super Bowl. They never go back. They always fall apart. And I said this last week. I respected the fact that when reporters asked Joe Burrow about his window, that was the most gangster's answer of all time, bro. Like my whole career. So it's like, show us then. Show us the window is still open. Take your team back. Of course, I know you'll still have the championship game to go, but go ahead and take Buffalo off this week and show us that you are the guy that I thought that you were when people were trying to compare you and Herbert, man.
Absolutely. And for me, when it comes down to this game, there are some, this team, like as far as teams, like it's very evenly matched, and that's why that Monday night game was so important, and why so many people had eyes on it, and so like it meant so much, as far as seeding, playoff implications, all of that. Two of the hottest teams in the NFL, and it lived up to every moment of it, and I believe this is going to be a game that's going to look completely different than that Bengals-Ravens game, like I mentioned earlier. And I believe that stylistically we match up very well with them. And I think it's going to, play in the hands of our offense. Defensively, Lou, he comes out with a great game plan. And so I'm definitely confident in what he's going to be able to do. And as long as we, can play a clean game and, limit the turnovers, I'm always going to be pulling for my guy. So I don't even think I'm not even going to give a pick because same thing I did last year. I'm going to tell you what I think.
Bro,
I'm going to tell you what I think.
My team's in the playoffs. I'm not picking. Are you serious?
Yeah, I just believe that it's going to be a really good game. And I think it's going to be, one of those games where I think the Bengals playmakers, it's going to put a lot of stress on the Bills. And when you put stress on the Bills, Josh Allen turns into Superman.
Yeah.
Or he fuck around as Clark Kent getting punched in the face. You know what I mean? So and he'll throw you some bad interceptions. But sometimes, his team is still able to overcome them like they did last week. But you can't do that against the Bengals. You can't give us extra possessions. And I think because they can't run the ball, we'll have some extra possessions. So, yeah. That is
Trey and Sam are my guys too, man. I really like them.
Hey, man, listen. We got some dogs out there, man. Trey been playing with a broken wrist. Sam had that strained calf muscle all week. Hopefully,
that's a
Eli
lot.
Apple.
He strained his calf. What, running back? How long was that return?
Nah, he strained his calf. The Tampa Bay game. He came back for the.
So he did that on a strained calf.
Mm-hmm.
Boy got wheels, man.
Yeah, so he been playing with a strain.
What he running the 40?
I think Sam ran like a. Now Sam might have ran like a 4.9. Let's see. Let's Google this real quick.
Real quick, yeah. That's crazy. Boy. Them dudes is looking. They just look like they have wheels out there, man.
Sam Hubbard ran a 4.95.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Big
so.
boys can move, man.
Exactly. But so yeah, man, I'm excited for that game. Shout out my cousin in the building. Shout out to all the Bengals fans in here. And make sure you like the video, hit that thumbs up, all y'all motherfuckers in here. I didn't say it earlier, so hit that thumbs up, give us all them likes. Tell your mama, your cousin, your uncles, your brothers, and your sisters, and even just the family friends. Subscribe to the 3 Man Weave podcast. Tell them to follow the YouTube. Tell them to join the group.
Mm-hmm.
And hit us at 3manweave_ on Instagram and Twitter. And we out. See you next week.
Yes, sir.